Hey, AfterBuzz fans, there's no new episode of TKO until Friday, but that doesn't prevent us from having a great episode here as we interview a contestant from last week, dare I say one of our favorite contestants, Borris Powell. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're a smaller crew today,
We are.
but that doesn't matter. Linda, introduce yourself.
Hey guys, Linda Antwi here. I am so excited about our guest today. And this song is in honor of him because it's his favorite song.
Absolutely. And I'm Phil Svitek, and without further ado, allow us to introduce the man of the hour, the man of the show, Borris. Welcome to the show.
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me. And I can't believe you're playing Step by Step. You just stole my heart. Give it back.
Aw, that's so adorable. That's so adorable. There you are.
Hi.
Hi.
Look at you over in Chicago. How's Chicago in the summer?
You know, Chicago is great. I might be a bit biased, but I don't believe you find a better summer in the U.S. other than Chicago. So much energy, the perfect temperature, summer only. Lots of energy going on, lots of great people. I just absolutely love this city in the summertime.
Perfect. Well, let's kick things off with what may be sort of a typical question, but how did you get involved with the show?
Yeah.
Very unexpectedly, I had someone to contact me and ask me to cast for the show. Someone had seen me casting for another show a few years back and thought that I would be perfect for this show. I'm not quite sure why they thought I would be perfect because I'm definitely not an athletic type of a person. Maybe by nature, but it's just not something I do. I don't go out looking for obstacle courses and running what I call a rat race. I have enough of that in my life as just normal day activity is my rat race. So me on an obstacle course just didn't seem right, but maybe that's why she thought I would be perfect for it.
You killed it on the obstacle course, though, so she knew something right.
Thanks for saying that. I don't know. Sometimes I still wish I'd have done things differently, but I had a lot of fun. The most appealing thing was like me being able to smack talk people, and I love the banter. I love to go back and forth. I guess that's in that gay genetic makeup. We love smack talk. So that was a lot of fun. But running that race, I'm like, oh, God Almighty! I'm not one of those like little boys that like to jump off moving trains and houses and things like this. So how the heck am I going to get through this? But by the will of God, the gay gods, I was able to like run the course and come out on top.
But Borris, you know you have the Royale coming up too, right? If your numbers stay.
Yes.
So are you practicing? Like, what are you doing to prepare for that?
There's nothing that you can do to prepare for that. It's just so crazy. I just do a lot of cardio at the gym so I don't get winded and try and do like balancing things. But there's nothing that you can really do because the other part of the game, which makes it so crazy and entertaining at the same time, is you have people that are battling against you and trying to knock you off the course by throwing crazy, I almost said stupid, let's take that back, throwing crazy things at you while you're trying to like stay on your feet. So there's not like I can go, it's not like I can go to my local gym and ask some of the trainers to throw like flying frizz booms and throw dodgeballs at 60 miles per hour at me while I'm going to the gym working out, or some people would think I'm a little crazy maybe. So I just stick to just like, cardio and just trying to keep up my endurance.
What is it like, as best as you can, really describe it for us, because we as viewers, we can be somewhat judgmental at times, but none of us are actually doing it. And so to date, it seems like everyone's having a struggle with at least one section, if not all the sections. But what is it really like when you're, take us zone by zone, if you will, if you can even remember.
It is, and I totally understand, and I agree with you. Is like when people look at the show, because I faithfully will go online and see what people are commenting on, and I just want to like bite back at some of the people that are so negative on it. But obviously I can't do that. it boils me. I was like, you can't really comment like that in such a negative way until you are running in our shoes. It's crazy. It's super intense. You have a live audience. You have Kevin Hart, which is like bigger than life when it comes to personality, and he's yelling at you. You have the contestants yelling at you, and then you, like, when they count down for you to go, like, all of the adrenaline just like burst out of your whole entire soul at one point, and then you just like run. And at that point, I don't know about the other contestants, but I go blank, and all I can really think about is just not falling. And you have the contestants yelling at you, you have Kevin yelling at you, and you're trying to balance on these small little like ledges on zone 1, and scaling a wall that is way wider than your arm span can reach. And then there are 60-mile-per-hour dodgeballs that are like flying at the back of your head. And when it hits the wall, you just hear this gunshot. And, I'm out of Chicago, where, gunshots is not a great thing, but we hear them every single day. So it's reminding me, like, I don't want to be hit by the ball. I don't want to be hit by a bullet. So I'm just like shaking in my boots, and here they are just slamming against your head. You're trying to scale this wall and jump from wall to wall. It's so intense. You have the crowd yelling at you. So the energy is way, way, way high, and you just go on 150 right away. So if you're lucky to get past zone 1, you're already exhausted, because you have given so much of something that you could not prepare for. You have no idea what's in store at all. There's nothing that could have prepared us for any of this jazz. So now you're past zone 1, hopefully, and if you fall twice, you get the TKO, which is the total knockout. Then you have to go on to zone 2. Now you're probably super embarrassed that you didn't make it to that zone, and now you have 3 more zones to conquer. The second zone is all about balance, and you're literally running on this balance beam that is maybe 5 inches wide, and it's circling around. It's not just a straight balance beam. And then you have this ridiculous little like cargo army net, plastic thing that's in the middle that you have to just like run across. And there's no way to balance. If you don't just kind of run full speed ahead, you're not going to make it across. You're just not going to. But you don't know that going into it, because we don't get a chance to try the course out. And then there's these giant frizz booms that are flying at your head, and that's what the contestants are shooting for, is your head or your feet. Either way, it's dangerous and crazy, and something that I didn't want to get hit with. And one of them, I mean, if I open my arms right now, that's the size of the freaking frizz booms. They're massive. So if one connects with you, it's going to be very hard to keep your balance. And that's zone 2, and it's just insane. And you fall into this pit of just like these bubbles, and it literally is like falling in water. You have to, I don't know, you're swimming with your arms and you're kicking with your feet to kind of get out. And if you saw the episode, that's when I lost one of my pumps. And I'm like, okay, how are you going to go on? And you just like lost one of the pumps. So I got out of the pit finally, and I took off the other pump, losing time, and took it off, and I ran like the girl from the south of Piedmont, Alabama, in the backwoods in the mountains with no feet. Well, I'm sorry, I have my feet, no shoes. And then you're going into zone 3, which is where those hammer ball spike things are coming at you, and you're trying to jump over these little, I didn't even know what those things are called, where you're balancing on these big cone like column things, and they're wobbly and shaking, and it's just intense, guys. It's so crazy. And at this point, you really don't have any oxygen left in your lungs. Like, I kid you not, none at all. You want to give up, but this is your first point where you're the closest to the audience, and they are yelling and cheering at you. I literally wanted to fall in the pit and not get up and like fake an injury or something like this. It'd be so dramatic. I know, shocking, right? Me dramatic. But the audience is right there, like feet away from you. And they're like, I remember a set of like girls, and they're like, Borris, you can do it. We believe in you. Go, get up, get up, get up. And so you get that in the side of your head, and you're like, okay, the cameras are on. Kevin Hart yelling as well. You know that your family is somewhere watching, and you don't want to disappoint anyone. So the adrenaline kicks back in for like the second, third, fourth time, and I give it more. I give it all that I have, and I get past this zone finally. And then you have the fourth and final zone, and at this point you probably are thinking, I see the light at the end of the tunnel, but there's no gas in the car, honey. Absolutely no gas in the car. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, how the crap am I gonna get over this rotating log thing? And there's these huge hammers that are gonna slap at my pretty head. It's like, I can't move. So I attempt, and I have an out-of-body experience, and at that point I blacked out, and I just remember getting out of the water, and Kevin was like, Borris, you need to run. Because I was giving you that grandma, that little southern black grandma walk girl with those house shoes and slippers on, just trying to get to that buzzer, and Kevin was like, you need to run, girl, you need to run. So I was like, oh, I have nothing left in me. And I just go and I sit on top of the buzzer, and I was like, I just want to go home now. Can I go home?
Is that what makes Zone 4 so hard, is the fact that you're exhausted, or is it really, like, if it was placed number 1, would it not be as challenging, do you think?
Let's see. I guess that, I mean, I'm going to be guessing if I'm saying anything about it, honestly, because you really don't have anything left in the tank. And especially this 43-year-old queen right here. I was like, honey, this course is made for those little 23-year-old boys that like jumping off roofs and trains, like I said earlier, not a little 43-year-old guy that likes to play with silk and leather and sequins. It literally, I had no energy. I literally gave it all I had, but at that point I had no energy. I would love to say that it would be easier if it was Zone 1, because yeah, I'm going to go on a limb and I'm going to say yes, it would actually, now that I think about it, it would be, because you have to have so much energy and speed just to like go through Zone 4. Because if you try and walk it, you're just going to fall off right away. Like you literally have to just like sprint, like Usain Bolt across it. But at that point, honey, this queen had nothing left in the tank.
Borris, you did. I mean, I felt like I was there with your description, so thank you for that. But you realize that you are one of only 2 contestants that actually completed 3 out of the 4 zones.
No, I did not realize that.
Yeah, so you did very, very well. Even though you lost your shoe, your time is great, and you completed 3 out of the 4.
Look at you doing your homework and giving me some statistics, girlfriend.
I'm just trying to prepare you for your Royale, because I'm trying to think that
girl.
you need to get through all those
gonna
zones just like you did for this episode.
Yes. This time I'm going to tie those pumps up real tight.
Do you think that slowed you down a lot, or just a little bit?
Well, it just showed me. It definitely slowed me down. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that, you know what, me losing my pump is what made me lose my balance on the first time when I fell into that pit. Mm-hmm. And I can only just think if I did not lose my shoe, maybe I would have gotten across, because I was at the end of that little like shaky netting sort of thing or plastic thing, and that's when my shoe fell off. And I'd like to think that if it didn't, I would have gotten across that, and I would have saved a lot of freaking time, a lot of time. But then I had to wrestle with taking the shoe off once I did climb out of the pit. And yes, I lost some valuable time, but I still gave it all that I possibly could, and I made it through. And as you've just said, I am one of 2 that completed 3 zones. So that's awesome.
It's amazing. It's really amazing. In Zone 4, that 90-second bonus, did you even notice it?
Well, I wasn't thinking about it. Again, like I say, I was not even in my own body at that point. I just wanted to get to that buzzer, and I knew that there was 2 things stopping me: getting across those stupid rotating logs, and just my own self-doubt. And I didn't want to fall in the water. I was like, I'm not messing up this wig in front of national, like on national television in front of millions of people. I do not want to hit the water. I'm not thinking about that 90-minute thing at that point, because I knew that in order to grab that, I'm more than likely going to fall off. So I'm just thinking about trying to get past the dang thing. So yeah, no, sweetie, I wasn't thinking about that 90-minute thing.
So I want to take it back to the start of it. One of the things I noticed, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is from how I read it. When you talk to Kevin Hart or any contestant, you guys are laved. Is that correct?
We're what, sweetie? I'm sorry.
You guys are mic'd up. So basically,
yes, laved. Yes, we are. Absolutely.
So then, as I kind of, more insider baseball, I looked at, okay, so you're mic'd there, but then for the actual competition, they take away the mic away, correct? Because they don't want to get wet and all that.
Absolutely, yes.
So where I'm going with this is that there's I imagine, a good chunk of time from the time that Kevin Hart interviews you to the time that you begin. And does that just, your anxiousness, did that resonate? Did you kind of get more nervous of like, okay, now I'm just waiting, like, I just want to go and get this over with. I don't want to have to be here being watched for so long.
Well, you would think that it would be a lot of time, but this is like, CBS. I mean, tons of staff, tons of producers and handlers out there. So from the moment that we already, finished talking with Kevin and we're running the race, I'm going to say maybe, if I'm guessing, 20, 30 seconds at most, and then we're running the race. Like it's happening really, really, really fast.
That's way faster than I ever would have thought.
Like really fast. There's no downtime. So I don't remember at all sitting there thinking, let's get this going. Let's get the show on the road. 5, 6, 7, 8, let's go. No. It happened pretty quickly.
In hindsight, speaking of Kevin, do you have a favorite quote of his as far as him chanting you on?
Maybe not him chanting me on, because again, I was really out of my body. I heard everyone. The only thing that I really remember are those girls in zone 3, like after I fell in the pit and they were like, Borris, you can do it, go, 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 go. That's the only thing that I really remember when it comes to words. But in between, like everything, I just remember like Kevin passing me at some point and he was just like looking at me and shaking his head. And he's like, man, you're funny. You're a funny dude. And that's I mean, I was like, hey, you know what? Yes, I am funny, Kevin. You're not the only one, honey. And I probably said something like that to him. But that's my takeaway, like our bonding moment when he just passed me. He was just like, man, you're funny. And he may have sworn in there because, Kevin loves his curse words. But I was just like, you know what? Yes, I am. Yeah, it was really great to have him to say that to me of all people. Like, this is what he does. He gets paid to be funny, and he's recognizing that I'm a character as well.
Absolutely. Are you watching, and have you watched the other episodes?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I am tuned in. I am 100% invested in this show to see what the outcome is going to be. I am a TKO fan now, and I'm realizing because of this show is that I'm a pretty competitive person. Now, I mean, I own my own business, so I guess you have to be competitive if you're really going to be an entrepreneur. And I come from an extremely competitive athletic family. All of my female cousins got basketball scholarships. My brother was the best in his time, his generation, of every sport, football, basketball, baseball. He was just like amazing. So I come up 3 years after him, and everyone expected me to take over his shoes, but I had no interest. I wanted to play with my cousin's baby dolls and dress them up and things like this. So I literally was the black sheep of the family. But I think by nature, genetically, I'm a little bit more sporty than I ever wanted to claim to be. And this show kind of brought it out. So I'm looking at the shows and watching. I'm going to tune in on Friday. Hopefully everyone else does as well. And I'm going to root that every single contestant fall on their butt, honey.
Who do you think your biggest competition is for the Royale? So far, it's Joe, yourself, and Barry.
Barry. And Joe put up a stupid, ridiculous time.
Yeah, 3.32.
Yeah, I'm like, are you kidding me? How does that happen? And you know what I say? I say, you know what? He is a 20-year-old man that loves jumping off homes, obviously. Um, that's my excuse. But I know Joe, I'm scared about Joe because I don't know how the heck he did that. I have no idea.
Well, he did really well, but in his episode, so first of all, he was first of first, but also in his episode in Zone 4, the lady that was in Zone 4, I think she froze, so he was able to go all the way across without her hitting that thing or whatever it is in Zone 4. So
yeah, he wasn't touched at all.
He wasn't touched at all, and she didn't start at all, so I think that helped him with his time.
Oh, totally. Yeah, like if I was there, I'd have put him in the water, honey.
Obviously.
Absolutely. Well, while we have you and while we're talking about successes, I want to talk about your successes off the show, because it's no small feat to have gowns featured as part of the Oscars, the Emmys. I mean, talk about that. You know, especially like we as insiders of this business know that is now no small thing. That is something to be truly applauded.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really do. You know, that's what I love to do. I love dressing people and making people feel absolutely the best that they've ever felt from the inside and out by wearing my garments. That's my number one. It really is. And I was very, very, very lucky and fortunate enough to have my first dress featured at the Oscars in 2011. And that happened because the Academy reached out to me and asked me to enter this competition called designing a gown for the Oscars, basically a red carpet worthy gown. And I entered this thing called the Design Challenge. And unbeknownst to me, I ended up winning it. And at this point in my career, I'd only been like full-fledged into like designing for like 2 years. I'm self-taught, and in my second year, competing amongst so many other talented designers in the U.S. That had all graduated and been educated in the industry, and some had been, designing for 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, and whatever. And then you have me, the newcomer, coming on, and it was just kind of ironic that I put up the best dress, and the Academy thought that I had the best dress and crowned me the winner of that challenge. And from there, my life completely changed. At that point, everyone had started reaching out to me and asking me to be a part of like shows like Jane the Virgin, where that show was asking me to sing gowns out to try and get pieces on their show and things like this, and it just started to explode like a wildfire. And I literally didn't know how to handle it, to be honest with you, because I'd only been doing it for like 2 years, sort of say. And from that moment, I was asked to dress a couple of ladies for the Emmys, and I dressed Ralphie Rosario. He's an amazing DJ. When he was up for a Grammy for remixing Rihanna's song called "We Fell in Love" in a Hopeless Place, that song, he was up for a Grammy for that, and I had the pleasure of dressing him for that, and had another dress at the the Grammys last year. So it's just been like really amazing and a whirlwind of just great blessings in this industry. And like you say, it's a very, very, very tough industry to be in, if not the toughest. It's very cutthroat. There's only room for a very few at the top, and in the middle, or wherever, just in the industry itself. So I'm just really happy that someone has taken some interest and love in my art.
I saw your winning dress. Was it called Black Swan?
Yes.
It was beautiful. So congratulations. That was amazing.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. It's definitely a dress that I look at every single day. I leave it on the mannequin. It's displayed very high on one of the walls in my showroom. And it just reminds me of what I can do if I'm ever having a bad day and things are just not going my way in this industry, which they can happen quite a bit. So I look up and I was like, you know what, look what you have done, and just remember that that's just the beginning if you don't settle to just sit down and play a victim when things are not going your way.
That's inspiring.
Is there any celebrity you would love to design, man or woman, an outfit for?
Yes, I have always had 5 ladies in mind since the beginning of my career as a designer when I started teaching myself to sew 11 years ago this past January. And it was always Heidi Klum, Nicole Kidman, Angela Bassett, Reese Witherspoon, and Holly Berry. Those were the 5 women that I've always wanted to dress. And it's because to me, I've always seen them as women that embody exactly what I want to embody as a designer when it comes to aesthetic. And we're talking about class, timeless, romantic, feeling, and just timeless classic beauty. And that's what those women represent to me. And that's what I want people to see and feel when it comes to my designs. And now, when it comes to like men, George Clooney, let's see, Jude Law has always been on my top list. Robert Downey Jr. And the list can go on and on and on. But those have been the ones that I have always wanted to dress from the beginning of time.
Mm-hmm. And what inspires you, and what keeps you motivated?
The world is my muse. I'm not a designer that sits down and sketch out a collection from season to season. And all the 10 years that I've been putting on shows, I've only sketched one collection out myself. I literally will always go off of feeling and emotions. And this is what moves me throughout life. And my life is about fashion. Whether I am in a brand new relationship or I'm breaking up with someone, I'm traveling the world, going sightseeing. Those are a lot of ways that I'm inspired to start a collection. And I see a lot of pieces in my dreams. I dream every night, and they're very, very, very vivid dreams. And they really will dictate what I do next when it comes to my collections. And sometimes they're really dreams that are put in front of me to get me back on track if I'm faulting on what I'm here to do, or I'm not believing anymore, or there's just some kind of doubt. I'll get a kick in the butt in some dreams, and it will spark the next movement when it comes to a collection. And that's all I need energy-wise to get me going again and get me through the next phase of the next seasons, because now I've been giving this gift of visions and ideas and situations that I put into a collection that keeps me motivated and inspired to go into the next.
And Borris, that feather superhero cape that you wore on your episode, I'm assuming that's one of your designs?
It is one of my designs, absolutely. And my last collection that I just showed it this past April this year was called Sides of Me. And it was a very personal collection because I was going through a lot of stuff and I wasn't being myself as an individual. And I was going through the downward spiral, to be honest with you. I started getting a bit depressed, and I didn't know how to handle those emotions because I've always been a guy that got up on the right side of the bed and funny and making other people laugh and just wanting to have just so much positivity and love and enjoyment in the world and spread that joy. And I wasn't in a place that I was being positive anymore. And I started peeling back the onion after several months of just not being okay with myself. And I realized that the reason why I wasn't okay is because I wasn't being myself. I had spent the last 10 years of my design career putting on a face that I thought the rest of the world wanted to see and would only accept me as, which was that guy that dressed red carpet, the guy that did evening wear and very, very, very pretty. But there's so many different other aspects and personalities to me that I wasn't showing. And because I was hiding that, I think that I started to become a little upset with myself. So this last show was called Sides of Me, when I was okay with presenting every single part and component of Borris Powell. And that's what that show represented. And through that show, I had a lot of feathers, like ostrich feathers, and the women's parts with a lot of long maxi skirts and other pieces. And when I got the opportunity to be on the show, I was like, I want to make something that I'm going to stand out, speak to my personality, and bring the drama right away. And I was like, okay, superhero. I literally thought back in the day, I grew up with my mom. Again, like come up with this extremely athletic family. My mom used to watch wrestling all of the time. And I just remembered all of these wrestlers would have these crazy over-the-top capes that they would come into the ring to battle with. And it was to throw their components off. It was to get them thinking of something else outside of the match itself. And then they would just strip it down and then reveal their amazing little fighting costume or whatever. So I was like, I need a gay superhero cape. And that's where it came from. And at that point, I was in my showroom, which I'm always in my showroom. And I was looking at those ostrich feathers. And I was like, oh, girl, you got it now. And I was like, I'm going to make a superhero cape out of ostrich feathers. And that's what I did.
It seemed to work. You intimidated your opponents, too.
Yeah, it did. It either intimidated them or they thought, oh, God, who's this little fashion queen? Like, we don't have to worry about this one. Either way, it worked.
And then I also have another question for you about your outfit that night. The shorts, the silver shorts, were they comfortable to compete in? Because I thought when I was watching that it might have been a little, like, restricting.
They were so short, honey, that I didn't have any problems moving. I mean, they were a hoochie short, girl. It was so, I mean, like they were sequin shorts. And obviously they're women's shorts. So we were out there trying to figure out what I was going to wear on the shorts and going through all these different outfits and things like this. And that's what connected with me and the stylist at the same time. I was like, yes, these are those. And you should have seen all of the like macho, athletic, straight guys when I came out there and when I was trying on those shorts, and they were like, oh my, what is going on? I just remember one of the contestants was so uncomfortable. It was so bad. And I was like, but hey, I'm living my best life right now.
Give it to me.
Give it to me. I was like, I want anything that's flashy and fabulous and it speaks to like fashion. Give it to me. I'm ready to go.
Amazing. Well, we have to wrap out soon, but I do want to offer you any final thoughts while you have this captive audience of TKO. Any message that you want to spread about yourself?
About me or about the show or both?
Both. They can be intertwined. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, definitely tune into the show. It's a lot of fun, and we need to tune in as a collective group and make sure that we are putting the buzz and word out there that everyone else coming after me is going to fall on the butt so that my time holds up and I'm in the Battle Royale, because you want to see me in the Battle Royale. And we also want to see if there's anyone else that's going to come behind me in these next coming weeks that are going to give you the fashion that I gave you. It's going to give you the sass that I gave you. And I can guarantee you that I don't think so. So let's just tune in together and see. Anything else about me, you can find me on Instagram at Borris Powell Designs. And it's 2 R's in Borris and 2 L's in Powell. And designs with an S, so it's very plural. Again, Borris Powell Designs. Follow me on the Instagram. Also, my website is Borris Powell, just my name, borrispowell.com. Check me out there as well. And just stay tuned and keep up the positive vibes for me, and let's get me through the finals.
You've been a pleasure. You're lovely.
Oh, so much. Kiss, 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 kiss.
Thank you so much. We truly appreciate it. We appreciate you spending time with us and obviously the audience that is listening or watching to this interview. So we appreciate you taking the time out. It was very enjoyable for us, as Linda said. So thank you as always, and best of luck. We do look forward to watching the next few episodes and seeing what happens.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a sheer pleasure. I'm very honored, and I just hope that I can continue with the joy and spreading the love and the fashion out there. And stay fashionable, people.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Borris.
Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it. In the meantime, the show did switch nights, so we will figure out how to do coverage there. We'll keep you updated. One of the best ways to interact with us and get all the updates is to interact with us on social media, whether at AfterBuzz TV or our personal social medias.
Linda's so girly all across social media.
And I'm at Phil Svitek. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Bye.
Bye, guys.
AfterBuzz TV. From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.